Hi, Dr. Jesse Keener here, and we're here with Jordan Sather, the founder and brainchild of Destroying the Illusion. And we're going to learn a little bit about Jordan's background and how this whole project came into existence. So, Jordan, welcome. And I know that you've got a lot of followers. It's really exciting, over 100,000 now on YouTube alone. And I know a lot of people are curious, starting at the beginning, which is a great way to learn about someone, were you always like this? As a kid, were you into more sort of mature conversations? What was your childhood like?
My childhood was far different than it is now. I mean, the only way somebody is really going to get into a lot of this stuff in this day and age is to have their parents grow them up in this kind of higher conscious world. And I didn't have that. I didn't have any single lick of that. So as I went to high school, I was the kind of atypical kid. I played a little bit of sports, played some high school soccer. I wasn't the most popular person, but I wasn't the most shy person either. And I did what any standard status quo kid does, and I went to state university. So through high school, I did the standard thing and picked a college to go to, ended up going to Washington State University, which was located in my home state of Washington, and graduated with grades, kind of rode my standardized test scores, my ACT and SAT into college, and ended up going to college for architecture and construction, believe it or not. So no, I definitely have not been into this. Although in college, I did begin to search for answers, search for different truths as to what's going on. Granted, it was on a far different capacity as it is now. I was actually a pretty staunch atheist in high school. And I remember in high school, I watched Zeitgeist, if you're familiar with that documentary.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
Great documentary that helped awaken a lot of people. Granted, the only part of it that I was interested in at the time, and this was the first movie, and the only part I was interested in was the expose on standardized religion. So that part helped wake me up. I wouldn't say I was actually waking up on the path of full truth, but I was interested in underlying realities of our planet. But then, of course, after college and up to where I am now, my whole actual awakening process is where I broke down a lot of those ego constructs. So in short, to answer that question, no, definitely was not like this when I was younger.
Well, that's probably going to be reassuring for a lot of people to hear out there. I mean, I can relate to that. I definitely did not get cooked in the soup of consciousness, but let's progress then. So at what point would you say you really had sort of that aha where your life changed? Mm-hmm. You were no longer not on your path, I guess is how you'd say it.
Totally. So progressing then a couple of years later, I graduated from high school. I went to State University. I was in State University for 1 year. I did a little bit of too much partying and ended up dropping out of State University and went to community college. Now, when I went back home and started going to the local community college, at the same time, I got a job at a local health food store. And this was a very high-profile health food store. We had very good products. It was a very busy store, and the owners and workers there were extremely high conscious. It wasn't kind of your standard, we did a lot of sports nutrition, but it wasn't your standard, what do you want to say, kind of meathead type of place. We had a lot of fantastic natural, non-GMO organic supplements. We had various medicines, I don't even call them supplements, but medicines that were far deeper than anything you would ever find at a normal health food store. So working there is really what initiated my actual aha moment. And then it was about 6 to 9 months into working there where it really blew my mind, because one day I remember a customer coming in, and the customer was talking to my manager, and they were talking about various things of geopolitics. And it was aspects of geopolitics that I had never heard before. And I was wanting to know more. So they pointed me in the direction of various documentaries and certain resources that I started digging into, and it just blew my mind. I mean, these guys pointed me by way of the financial system and the truths on geoengineering or chemtrails. I started learning about pharmaceutical corruption, various cancer cures, fluoride vaccines, I mean, all of it. And once I really started getting into the depths of things, I was just hungry for everything. I went down every rabbit hole I could find very, very fast. So it was only within a matter of probably a few months that I was learning about, okay, fluoride, GMOs, vaccines, suppressed cancer cures, oh my gosh, geoengineering, financial corruption. Then naturally I went into free energy and the UFO topic and everything. And this, I mean, it was shocking. It was shocking to me, but I was, you know, such an avid researcher. And I remember being in a class in community college, and each station for the students had a computer. And I don't remember what the class was. It might've been physics or history or something, but here I was researching Rothschilds and geoengineering and all this stuff on the computers. And I didn't even care about what they were teaching us. So naturally, then I just gave up university. I never really even had my heart into it. So totally dropped out of college. And then I began working at this health food store completely because I was making much more of an impact than I was anywhere. And I ended up working for that store for about 4 to 5 years. And I learned the depths of so many different things that I'm absolutely grateful for, because it gave me a huge perspective on us humans, human health, how to feed ourselves, take care of ourselves, and, you know, all the fake news they try to give us in that regard. But I learned a lot of other things, met some amazing people, and that's how I got into my awakening process there.
Fabulous. You know, I think a lot of people are going to resonate with your particular path. And that is exactly what happened to me. In fact, it was through getting sort of slingshot into holistic health as a patient, you know, flunking out of the medical model decades ago, and actually getting my eyes open to functional holistic medicine, clinical nutrition, and the fact that you can really do, as you said, medicine level work with this stuff. And it's just an easy and fast progression into all the ahas that keep going on as we wake up more and more into what it's about in especially in our culture with health and well-being. So here we are, and now you've got over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So what was the bridge for you where you decided to do a YouTube channel itself?
Totally. So there's two answers to this question. And the first part that I want to explain this with is that during this awakening stage, you know, it was very lonely. And that happens for a lot of people. It's shocking. It's lonely. You get paranoid and nervous and scared because, like, oh my God, the world's really this way. So, and that was me. That was me for 2, 3, even 4 years. And it started gravitating away from a lot of people in your life. Your relationships take a very sharp turn. And I was looking for solace somewhere. I was looking for help and hope and, you know, some kind of assistance. And I found that through people on YouTube. And one name primarily that I watched a ton of his videos, and I still watch his videos time and again, his name was Elliot Hulse. And his videos on YouTube, they weren't conspiracy videos, for lack of a better term, but they were very higher conscious. I mean, he had a fitness background. He had a fitness YouTube channel, but it wasn't your standard, like I said, meathead fitness channel. He was quoting Ralph Waldo Emerson and Dr. Joseph Campbell and throwing out some crazy philosophies through his videos. And his videos were basically, most of them were 5 to 10 minute just clips of him talking. And so, I mean, millions, thousands, millions of young men, which is the age range I was in, it was helping them. It was helping to motivate them and for them to find their way. And that's exactly what was happening to me. So I had that. And then the second answer to this question is that after I worked at that health food store, I left, and then I had a couple other, I don't want to say odd jobs, but it was also in the healthcare realm, but it just wasn't fulfilling me. So it got to a point at the end of 2016 and at the beginning of 2017 where I began finding that courage to speak out about these subjects. And I tried writing. I wrote some guest articles for a couple websites. One blog or website was called Stillness in the Storm, and I wrote some articles for them. But I found that I wasn't necessarily the best writer in that instance of writing articles. But I kind of had this aha moment one day. I'm like, what if I just did YouTube? And what if I just did those kinds of videos where it might have been 5, 10, maybe 15-minute videos where I'm speaking on these subjects and helping a lot of people find their way in this crazy world, because that's where I was at 3, 4, 5 years ago. And what if I take that model that Elliot Hulse was doing and apply that to this, like I said, conspiratorial or higher consciousness avenues? And, you know, that would be perfect, because I didn't see anybody else doing that. And not only would I speak on, I ended up kind of gravitating towards a lot of new stuff just to help people see what's going on. But of course, there's a lot of other videos where I'm just like that, giving 5, 10-minute talks on my opinions, my perspective, my experiences. And it ended up happening where so many people, like you said, 100,000 in the first year now, were gravitating towards just what I was throwing out there, just me being authentic. I mean, I wasn't cutting or editing these videos, and I was being completely straight up and like, hey, this is what I think. And I was being honest too. I'm like, I kept saying in my videos, like, this isn't, I don't claim to be some kind of all-knowing harbinger of truth, but this is just the way I'm seeing it. I'm going to source some things and tell you why I'm seeing it this way. And ended up just a lot of people love that message. So I'm really doing it to help the collective consciousness spread these messages out there, but also help a lot of people find solace, because I know there's plenty of people out there who don't have anybody to talk to about these things. And that's the favorite part of doing this, is the people who actually, you know, it's like every day there's a video of them to watch of mine, and it's like the only chance they have to hear these things from somebody who seems like a normal dude and is just making them feel like they're normal, like they're not crazy for delving into these subjects and thinking these things. So it's kind of it was a very interesting, just divinely way it's all weaved together over the past 4 or 5 years that I just got sick of college. I got sick of corporate jobs, and I took these different models that I saw various mentors of mine use, and I just kind of weaved that all together and boom, put it online.
Yeah, that's a fantastic story. And I know one of my mentors early in personal development said the deepest human longing is to belong. And the fact that you've created this place for people to belong and really to touch them, I know only someone who went through that phase of sort of the dark night of the soul would really feel compelled to contribute it back this way. And I know that's really appreciated by so many. So as you've made this transition now, and now you're giving back and you're helping others awaken, you know, what kind of experiences are you having from this?
I'm having some of the most amazing experiences. I mean, one of the reasons that I did this YouTube channel is because of the personal development and the self-growth behind that. Believe it or not, when I was younger, and even earlier this year, I was pretty introverted. And
Wow.
I was scared to speak my mind about a lot of things. That's kind of been a recurrent theme in a lot of personal and professional relationships I've had, is just having the courage to say what needs to be said. So I figured, I'm like, okay, I have an opportunity with this YouTube channel to help in a specific niche, but also help myself. So not only do I teach, but I learn at the same time. And I've gained so much confidence in doing these videos and just putting myself out there. And not only that, but I have learned that in this world, a lot of people really don't have their shit together as much as some people think. And that's almost one of the biggest objectives I have, is just to help people realize that no, we shouldn't be placing anybody on a pedestal. Even the people you think are so intelligent and so well-read and so knowing, there might be a lot of things that they even don't understand or might have twisted or backwards. So one of the goals I have now is just to help people realize that, like, hey, don't be searching for truth or anything like that from these amazing people. Yeah, you can get great information from them, but it's up to you. It's up to distill that for yourself, to discern that for yourself. And you can become just as good, if not better, than the people you're looking up to now, just by putting in the effort to research yourself and do that. So
Yeah. anything we can do to help people increase their sense of empowerment and discernment is a giant contribution, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if I mess up in one of my videos, I don't delete that video, and I almost am more than happy to, because that then shows vulnerability. And I know a lot of people are looking up to me as a kind of, I don't say this egotistically, but I'm just as a Messiah-like figure, kind of like prophet. That's just natural. Human beings have a natural tendency to idol worship. So if I can break that tendency in people, if I can screw up and make myself look vulnerable, and they realize, oh, I shouldn't be worshiping anybody. I should be doing this on my own. Well, then great, fantastic. I helped somebody in some way, even by screwing up. That's great.
Exactly. And the vulnerability is such a source of empowerment for everyone. And on that note, one last question. What do you do personally when the going gets really rough? Because, you are a human, and as you said, you're not a Messiah. Mm-hmm. So what are your ways of sort of reconverting your energy so that you can pick yourself back up after you've had a assault on social media or what have you?
Yeah. I mean, that has been a fact that's happened to me, is that there have been assaults and attacks, and some people might be naturally jealous, or it's some kind of ego construct they're getting over. And I'm pretty positive there have been some people paid, some actual agents, to attack me and my work as well. And when the going gets tough, I take a break. I take a break from social media, from the internet. And I've always been an athletic person, so I like to go work out or play soccer or go run or do something like that. Those are kind of my meditations. I'm definitely a nature buff. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so I go out into the trees and the nature and try to get away. And that's really the ways that I ground myself right there.
Awesome.
Is using the body and getting out and using the earth.
Yeah, our body's a heck of an avatar, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, thank you so much. I've been following you since the very beginning, and I certainly feel really empowered knowing your story, knowing how you got to here, and also knowing that, as the rest of your subscribers know, this is just the beginning. You're doing incredible work. We need you, we want you, and we're all belonging to something fantastic. So thanks for helping us destroy that illusion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jesse. I appreciate it.
You bet.